Welcome to our December 2023 monthly chat. As we end 2023, I wanted to take this opportunity to honor one of our board members who is ending their term on our board of directors, but who also was our 2023 Spirit Award winner of the year, Mary Jo Cross. So,
Hello.
welcome. It's
Thank
great to
you.
have Mary Jo here and to talk a little bit about her path as a realtor and some of the work that she's done with the board. So, first off, give us a little bit of history about what brought you to real estate and the
I
work that
like
you
to
do now.
call it my accidental career. I graduated from the University of Maine at Orono with a degree in speech pathology. And you really needed a master's degree to pursue it further. And I moved to Boston thinking I would do graduate work in Boston, but I actually wanted to go to work. I really wanted to take a little break from school. So I went to work for a large real estate firm called R. M. Bradley, and I went to work for the commercial division, which was a group of maybe 10 men. There were no women in real estate at that point, at least in commercial industrial real estate. And I was their administrative assistant. It was very clear that there was no place for me to go further into the company. But one of the commercial brokers had started his own company focusing on franchises, which were just becoming a thing.
Oh, right.
And so he asked me to go with him. I got my broker's license. I traveled around the state of Massachusetts looking for sites for, say, a Burger King, Exxon, McDonald's. All of those companies would say, hey, I'd like a site in Springfield. So I would go out to Springfield. I would do I'd look at a Route 1 for a dilapidated house.
Wow.
I'd do the plot plans, traffic studies. I go to I've been in every town office in Massachusetts, would do title work and all that. And then I'd put together a package, give it to him, and then he would work with the real estate representatives of these various companies. I did that for a while, realizing that I was doing all the legwork and there was really not a lot that I could, there wasn't a lot of ways for me to progress there either. It was a great experience. I then went to work for the Stride Right Corporation in their real estate division, and they happened at that time to be relocating their corporate headquarters from Roxbury to Cambridge into a new building. They needed a relocation coordinator. They hired me to do that. So I worked for 2 years moving 600 employees into a new facility. And at the end of that, and it was a lot. It was everything from the furnishings to the computer room at that time was an acre long with every piece of machinery, and there was a lot of detail. So when it was done, I was in the new building as their quote facilities manager, and my boss was the head of the real estate division, and he decided to leave. And they called me in one day and they said, well, we don't know what to do with you because there were no women in management in the Stride Right Corporation. So we don't know what to do with you. So we're going to have you train this man to do your job, and then you'll report to him. And I was like, I know I'm never going to do that. So I went back to my Selectric typewriter and I typed out my letter of resignation. And that was it. I went into residential real estate in Cambridge.
What a story. I have to tell you all who are watching this that Aubrey, who's behind the camera, was horrified to hear that story. That must have been in the 80s?
It was definitely in the, actually, 1984 is when I started my residential
career. Come a long way, baby.
it was pretty stunning.
My goodness. Wow.
And so I went into real estate in Cambridge. I worked for a great company for 10 years and then moved back to Maine in 93. I went to work for Coldwell Banker here. They were starting a relocation division, so I became the relocation director, managing corporate transferees and all of that, and got my foot back into the Maine real estate. I mean, I grew up here, but I did not know the real estate landscape that well. So it was a really great way for me to integrate back into the real estate community. So that's my accidental career.
Fascinating background. Yeah.
And yeah, so it definitely, I think my time at Coldwell Banker, we were encouraged to attend the Portland board's member meetings, to go to the conventions, to attend everything. They were very, very supportive of us engaging in the community beyond just our own individual sales goals.
And I think that that's kind of a segue. And, you were the 2023 Spirit Award winner. And I want to read kind of the brief criteria. It's for the local realtor who most exemplifies the high degree of professionalism demanded of a member of the National Association of Realtors and the true spirit of what it means to be a realtor. And you mentioned that, at that time, you would attend a lot of the meetings and so forth. And obviously, there was a path to volunteerism. And one of the reasons that we want to invite you and some of our other directors is to kind of put out to our members how much value there is, not only to the Greater Portland Board of Realtors to have expertise, professionalism, and your time and energy and input, but also it benefits you in a way as a realtor. Can you talk a little bit about what value you got from volunteering as a leader
Sure.
with GPBR?
Definitely, I think in our businesses, sometimes you're a little bit insulated in what you're working with buyers, working with sellers. You're in your little lane. I think when you join a committee or a board, it not only do you get to know a lot of the other members, brokers, people that you eventually might be doing a transaction with, and I can't tell you how invaluable it is to actually have a relationship with someone on the other side, and just even if it's extremely casual, um, just your ability to it's a benefit to your buyer or your seller that you do have a relationship on the other side, because it is a collaborative effort. And I know sometimes people feel like there's this it's us against them when we're negotiating, and it's actually no, it's us trying to come to a really great conclusion for our clients collectively. So I find that getting to know and working with people through board committees, all of that has been totally beneficial to my ability to do my job.
Yeah, and that's more important than ever, as we know. And it's also giving back. I mean, the realtor community is very community oriented. And, just a reminder, we are a nonprofit and we have a very small staff. And it's people like you in your roles as director or committee work or showing up at an event. There's a lot of different ways to help out with great return.
Right. And a lot of the committees, there's a lot of different areas which could appeal to people who have different interests. So,
Yeah.
and I just think it's really something that until someone is introduced to it, they just don't know what they don't know. They don't realize, and they don't realize how hardworking some of our members are behind the scenes to our benefit as a whole. And I think that's the sad part, really, is that there's just so much more that that any individual can contribute, and it's just
with their amazing backgrounds.
And you just never know what someone's going to bring to the table.
Right.
I also was a Rotarian for 25 years, and so that was another way of not only getting new clients, which wasn't Rotary's goal. Is, if people aren't familiar with Rotary International, it's one of the largest volunteer organizations in the world. And we do many good projects locally as well as internationally. And you do meet another whole group of business. It's generally people from lots of different businesses. But so I think that also contributed to my interest in joining our board. Nice. and other committees, because that's another volunteer organization that does so much good. And it just feels good.
It feels good,
To,
and inadvertently you benefit from it as well, and getting connected to
correct.
people. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, there's
yeah,
no point in joining something if you're just looking, what's it going to do for
right,
me?
absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
I,
Well, thank you for being such a great role model, and again, earning the spirit award. But you just do this every day, and we know you're not going far as you term off of our board of
no,
directors.
I'm here.
Yes. Very soon, all of you will be receiving a call for volunteers from our incoming 2024 board. So please take that opportunity to look at what might interest you so that you can start your path in getting involved as a volunteer. Um, as we wrap up, please tell us something fun or interesting about you that maybe a lot of people don't know. It's
Hmm.
always the fun
Well,
part.
yes, and thinking about that, I like to say I peaked maybe in eighth grade.
I don't think so, but
So actually, the Rotary, it's kind of funny because Rotary was, they didn't allow women, I don't think, until 1988 or
yeah.
89. But the Rotary group in Portland, when I was in eighth grade, they ran an essay contest to all of the schools, and it was What America Means to Me. And I won the essay contest. I wish I had a copy of what I wrote, but back then there
Oh,
were no, it was like you hand wrote it, you mailed it in, and that was it.
right.
I do have, there was a photo of me with the president of Rotary in the Press Herald receiving my plaque or whatever, but I don't have a copy of what I wrote. And I also that very year won a Singer sewing machine contest, which I had sewn an extremely ugly paisley tent dress. And I won a record player for that. So that was, I mean, these massive accomplishments back in the eighth grade. So
You were
I,
already on
I,
your way.
I don't think that made it into any of my resumes,
Uh,
but that's just a little
multi-talented,
something.
multi-interest. Yeah.
Oh yeah, unbelievable, domestic goddess.
There you go.
But
Well, thank you so much for coming again,
thank
and
you,
best to you, Mary
thank
Jo
you.
Cross.
Volunteer,
Thank you for
everyone.
everything. Take
Thank
care.
you.